Can AI truly craft a winning SEO strategy? I'm putting Claude and ChatGPT head to head and see which one delivers the better results. The outcome might surprise you. As you can see, we have ChatGPT on the left, Claude on the right, and we're going to start right away with some information about the project so the tools know what we are trying to do. Let's look at the results. ChatGPT, and this is something that happens throughout the experiment, as you're going to see, very often jumps a little bit ahead of themselves, I would guess. And we see this here as well. It seems to be understanding everything right away and is directly starting with multi-phase SEO plan, even giving best zero, given topic ideas here. They say exactly what kind of keywords we need, what kind of technical SEO site structure and architecture we need, etc. I actually just told them we are going to look at SEO, and they pretty much map out the entire plan. Claude, on the other hand, first confirms it understands its role, talks a little bit about what should be prioritized when we launch in 2 months. So they really stuck into the 2 months frame here as well. Talks about technical foundation, keyword strategy, local SEO terms for major US cities. So this is interesting that just the targeting US also raises the potential of US cities here specifically, and also suggests content calendars, keyword recommendations, local SEO strategy, etc. But then asks me what I want to explore first. So for me, this is a little bit more helpful. ChatGPT, in my opinion, doesn't have yet enough information to really line up all these details. And this can actually be misguiding somebody not savvy with SEO strategies, might just come to very, very quick conclusions here. Can AI actually do audience research? We asked Claude and ChatGPT to analyze the audience of a Shopify site selling eco-friendly products. Do they know? Start with audience research, buying intent, search behavior, pain points, and potential information for the next steps. So let's take a little bit of a closer look at ChatGPT's audience research. It restates who we are actually targeting here: buying intent and consumer behavior. Who are they? What are they interested in? Carbon footprint, non-toxic. So I'm just really skimming this a little bit. The topic research, audience research in general doesn't look bad. It's more a persona research than really an audience research, because for an audience research, we would have some sort of platforms probably we would want. And this can obviously be a follow-up question if we specifically want to get more information about where can we actually reach these people beyond traditional SEO. We might even get some platforms that really make sense, but this might be part of another video. Let's check out Claude. We see this looks very different. It's also shorter. Let's dive into the details a little bit. Search then intent patterns and behavior, primary searches. They use terms like natural, non-toxic, clean, rather than just eco-friendly. So this is definitely interesting information. Product reviews and ingredients information are being searched for. High interest before and after results, combined with terms like sensitive skin, pregnancy safe, hypoallergenic. This all makes sense. Secondary searches, so these were the men would search more for patterns, search with minimalistic, basic, simple. They're looking for chemical-free or fragrance-free. Higher interest in bulk purchases can be true. Common pain points: product efficacy, sensitivity on price, trust and authenticity, affordable, best value, worth it, trust and authenticity, convenience, and then the buying journey insights. Different stages. We have here awareness stage, educational searches, consideration stage, brand comparison, decision stage, coupon and discount, where to buy. So this seems to be very general. I would say not necessarily specific for the eco-friendly e-commerce store, but could be general e-commerce advice. Specific SEO implications focus on educational content, on the skepticism and the natural product effectiveness. Included detailed ingredient glossaries, could be included. Technical implementation, build strong. So there's definitely a little bit of information in there. It seems like more general patterns rather than more specific information. So when comparing ChatGPT's audience research to Claude's audience research, I think ChatGPT gets the point here with a more usable audience research right away. Now let's see how well these AIs can analyze our competitors. We're looking for content gaps, keyword opportunities, and maybe backlink strategies. We ask for a list of 10 competing e-commerce sites, one by one, tell me which content they might be missing. So we're looking for a gap directly, a content gap, in order to leverage their SEO weaknesses. Also tell me about backlinks, what kind of sites link to them, and how can I get similar backlinks to better compete with them. Obviously, a really, really tough task. ChatGPT or Claude are not backlink tools, but I'm just expecting this is one of the queries they might be getting from somebody not in SEO all the time. So let's just see what comes out here. Let's again check out ChatGPT first. So it lists a few sites here and then goes through site after site, analyzing potential content gaps. There's a broad range of products, but lacks personalized guides. So personalized guides seem to be something customized zero-waste personal routines could be an idea. Backlink profile, types of linking sites, Earth Hero, linked by eco-conscious blogs, sustainability news outlets, and green living forums. At this stage, I want to definitely mention generative AI is always based on probability of the next word. This is how language models operate. So definitely take whatever link related information you get with a grain of salt, and definitely double check with tools like Ahrefs or SEMrush in order to make sure you really find those. I would think it's interesting to see, okay, eco-conscious blogs could be a potential source, sustainable news outlets, sustainability news outlets could be something, green living forums as well, and just take the information that's in there, not as a fact, but as inspiration to actually do your backlink outreach strategy then. Guest posts, blogging, product reviews, and resource pages. Then we have other pages as well, types of linking sites, health and wellness blogs, nutrition forums. This makes sense. Zero waste. I'm really interested always in what is actually the content gap analysis and what kind of example content could actually add to the conversation. So if ChatGPT is trained on what is out there on the web, identifying something that might be missing is definitely a first inspiration for then doing additional topic and keyword research within the audience research to see what makes sense here. Okay, so pretty much going through the list, defining some informational guidelines or tips and inspirations, and also types of sites that could actually be interesting to use for link building. Okay, so this is pretty much it. Let's look at this. We also have a list of 10 sites here with an analysis in each moment. Direct limited ingredient, educational content, strong links featured in mainstream, many links here. Scientific research is missing here. Here's limited ingredient education content, heavy presence in mom and pop blogs, live scientific research here, product tutorials and how-to guides. So I like here in Claude's version that there is a clear understanding of what is missing in pretty much every single site here. Product comparison content is missing here apparently. Limited content about water conservation specifically, which is interesting. So maybe they cover a lot of other things, but not water conservation, which might be interesting as a top of funnel topic. And we can also here see plastic reduction impact. What catches my attention, this might again be something based on the language model thing. It's really just one, each site seems to be missing one particular area. I would expect that missing content about water conservation is something that comes up more often, but it seems to be mentioning like individual topics for each site. Zero Waste Store has only limited content about composting. So always again to be taken with a grain of salt. Definitely here, I don't specifically like either of the two, so I would give both of them half a point. Next up, content strategy. Let's see how good these two AIs are when it comes to lining up a 12-month content plan and actually taking into account the previous audience research insights, competitive research, and actually also the time of the year where specific content might be interesting to publish. Back to the comparison. Now we want to make sure we get a content calendar. The writing team could already start writing if the website launches soon. So let's see what they come up. I would like to have a little bit of a front-loaded content calendar for a small company here, 8 articles per month in the first 6 months, 4 articles in the second half of the year. So here's the 12-month SEO content calendar ChatGPT came up with. Tells us what this plan does, and then has very nice tables based on the different months, article titles, already keyword focus. It's always important to understand what do we want to rank for, so we can actually then write the content in order to rank for a certain search field, semantic field, I guess. What I really like is they automatically also on top of the keyword focus also have an idea of the content type. We would need to double check on Google if this is really the content type Google is ranking, but definitely it makes sense. It's educational. There's definitely a list here when it's 10 best XYZ. What we also see is it made actually my recommendation, followed my recommendation of 8 articles at the beginning, and then we have 4 articles per month in months 7 to 12. This looks actually pretty good. There is one thing I'm missing. I'm going to show this to you right away because this is one thing Claude is doing really, really well, I think. So here we see Claude's content plan for the first 12 months. Also, it seems to be obeying the 8 articles and 4 articles rule I gave them. It's also trying to have a mix of educational, product-focused content, lifestyle, training, seasonal topics, etc. This is the one that I was missing on ChatGPT, seasonal topics, because when we look at what June, for example, if we think the month 1 is January, in June, for example, we are going to see certain holiday gift calendar kind of thing. Winter prep is not net, depending on where you are in the world. If the target market is US, this would be off topic. But first, really like the holiday gift calendar. I saw in month 12, we have some New Year's resolutions around personal care. Winter travel here, it would be accurate. So it definitely took into account the season of the year, but with some additional information, I would guess ChatGPT would also do this. Overall, the content plan on ChatGPT with the keyword focus and the automatic categorization of the kind of article we're looking for would definitely get my point here. Let's see how these AIs are actually doing when it comes to link building strategies. Can they draft a proper link building strategy to support our Shopify site in this eco-friendly space? I want to get a quick idea about what a link building strategy could look like. So here is a 6-month link building strategy ChatGPT suggests: low-hanging backlinks, eco-friendly directories, and business listings. For a new website, I think it's still valid to build a little bit of a natural foundation in link building and make sure that you get added to niche directories. So I would think this is good. It's interesting that they specifically add an outreach template that could be used. Take it with a grain of salt. If it sounds too generic, it might not match your brand voice. But yeah, definitely possible. Sustainable zero-waste bloggers for backlinks. Partner with eco-influencers for blog mentions also makes sense. Haro, to my knowledge, doesn't exist anymore. So I wouldn't bet on it too much. There are some substitutes you might be able to get. But in order to get featured in articles, definitely one of the ways is to answer reporter questions on different portals. Digital PR with data-driven stories to eco-media. This one is definitely really, really powerful as long as you have a good story, good data background, and the right journalists that usually cover this kind of topic. It's definitely possible to achieve links here sustainably on a regular basis if you keep up the process. Linkable assets, really important one. Month 3, I wonder if month 3 isn't a little bit too late, but we can definitely look into interactive infographics, ebooks, Reddit, Pinterest. I'm missing a little bit statistics or surveys or something like this, which could actually really be good linkable assets. If an infographic is really going to attract so many links these days, I would probably wonder if this works. Infographics specifically to push on Reddit and Pinterest or eco forums, definitely. Collaborations with sustainable brands for link exchange as well. Collaborations, etc., are always good. Get featured in best of lists and gift guides. Lists, I think, are going to be really, really interesting again, because based on generative AI being based on probabilities, what goes next to what, if you are always mentioned next to other eco-friendly brands on the web, and generative AI is going to notice, and it's going to be more likely that your brand comes up in a list inside generative AI as well. So this is one of the most powerful moves I think you can do here in order to start getting traction in AI. Scale guest posting on high authority eco websites. Guest posting is still a thing, and I doubt it's ever going away. We just need to be a little bit smarter now than we had to be 8 years ago. But definitely being able to contribute on other blogs and bring in the link or a reference to your brand definitely makes sense. So this isn't bad, ChatGPT. Now let's look at Claude here and the 6-month link plan. Claude actually starts with linkable assets to create, which I find really, really important, because linkable assets are going to take some time, and you can keep up the outreach, the pitch of linkable assets over time. But they need to be created first. So I think it's a good idea to create them first. Impact study is something that you can also push to digital PR channels afterwards. Data visualization of the environmental impact, expert interviews and citations. So I think this is a really, really good suggestion. And I like that it's actually coming up in month 1 and not later as it was with ChatGPT. Interactive tool as well. So calculators are always good to attract links and be referenced and be pitched to other pages covering similar topics. And it also tells us what kind of outreach targets we should be considering, from sustainability blogs to news websites in the environmental space, environmental journalists from mainstream media. The pitch angle is there as well. New study reveals shocking amount of plastic waste from daily personal care routines. I think this is an amazing pitch and definitely has a lot of chances to attract a huge amount of links just from one single campaign, and then you can tweak it over time. Month 2, local press and community building, linkable assets again. So in each month, there are some linkable assets that can be created and who to reach out to. There's no mentioning so far from guest posts. I think guest posts are still a good way to attract relevance to your website if you're selective about it. So I'm missing this a little bit, but I like that this is a really clean SEO approach. You create something that's worth linking to, and you find somebody who wants to link to it. And here for me, overall, it's a tie. I would give half a point to each platform. Let's see how ChatGPT and Claude are doing when it's about turning information from the previous research into actionable steps a user can implement. At my agency SEO Leverage, for years, we have been lining up high impact actions hand selected for our clients every couple of weeks. So I would like to get a 3-month action plan in a similar framework. Okay, so now I'm asking both tools for a 3-month action plan, defining 2 sets of about 5 actions per fortnight. And let's compare them side by side, because as you can see, they are going to be very, very different. In month 1, there's quite a comprehensive list of specific topics to create on ChatGPT here. Focus on keyword research, mapping, really important to know which keyword you want to rank for with which page. Map it to pillar pages, category and product descriptions. You really want to nail the type of page that you try to rank. And use Ahrefs SEMrush to find low competition keywords. So it actually doesn't even suggest keywords. It actually recommends to use a proper tool for this, which as an SEO, I can only appreciate. It talks about URL structures, optimizing meta titles, descriptions, still something you want to do at least once well. Mentions structured data, usually with Shopify, is not something that's necessary. Publish the first blog post. I'm a big fan of Ultimate guides because it's going to put you on the map for a huge amount of keywords, and you are going to see, based on where those Ultimate guides actually rank, where you might have a shot at ranking high and where you're definitely not relevant at all, even with an Ultimate guide right off the bat. Eco-friendly directories, so it factors in the link building plan and already the outreach in the first fortnight. First fortnight on Claude looks a little bit differently. Very focused on XML sitemap. We don't even have articles yet on our site. We're not even doing anything in order the site is to be launched. So it doesn't seem to be taking into account necessarily where we are. Google Search Console and analytics tracking without a website. functioning is a little bit harder to do. You can set up some basics, and I do like that the tracking is in there, but it might not be in our situation the first thing to do. Speed optimizations is really something for the development team anyway. We can double check it. But yeah, there's not much about content creation in the first fortnight. We create some in the second fortnight. We create some category pages here, set up a blog infrastructure with proper categories. We're not writing articles yet. Apparently, we just prepare category pages, and the first batch of cornerstone content. Finally, in the second half of the second fortnight, here we are actually in this way here with content as well. So we see as we go through, I would really say that ChatGPT is really much better here in the specific actions as well. It's more specific. It's more taking into account the previous analysis, and it actually gives you some really, really good suggestions or suggests tools that should be mentioned. Whereas Claude seems to be ignoring parts, at least, of what was said above. It's not specific. It doesn't suggest specific topics either. So definitely with the action steps, there is a full point going to ChatGPT. Which AI should you be using when drafting a strategy for a Shopify site? As we can see in the overview, Claude actually started out nicely, definitely having the better start and starting to ask questions as well on where we want to go with the research, but ChatGPT jumped ahead. However, the audience research was much better at ChatGPT than with Claude, and in a competitive research, it was pretty much a tie. The content plan, if you remember, was very, very detailed with ChatGPT, indicating types of pages, target keywords, etc., whereas Claude was giving a really poor performance here. Link building strategy, pretty much the same, where Claude was really good with favoring linkable assets in the first months. ChatGPT just had on, in general, a better lineup of the strategy, and also mentioned the lists, which I found really, really important here. In terms of the action plan, again, ChatGPT had a much more detailed and ready to use action plan than Claude, which ultimately makes ChatGPT for SEO strategies in this comparison the better option. If you would like to know more about my work, subscribe to this channel and head over to my website gertmellak.com.